So, okay, guys, this is gonna be a session in where I would recap the last 3 days of the price action on indices mainly, as I wasn't there to frame it live, so I would be doing a recap for myself and for the members as well. So, let's get into it. And just based off of the daily chart, after Monday's closure, I was there till Tuesday. After Tuesday's closure, what I could see, what I would be looking to see going into Wednesday, I would be looking to see a continuation of this here, having a expectation of OHLC towards here, but asset selection could have been different. But yeah, this could have been an idea, and a level of relevance would be previous day low, seeing how price would react to previous day low, as I was having a double-sided expectation on Tuesday as well, because if you go back in here, price could form a protected swing of a previous day with respect to this and trade away. I could use it to trade away, which I did use to trade YM shorts, and price could form a new protected swing here of in respect to this. So which would be the case after price sweeps previous day low on Wednesday, this case here. But if this was meant to be the weekly high, then I would have wanted previous day's EQ to be respected and idly not even come back this much, just open this much and go here, and my asset selection would have been different. Let me have a look. Yes, maybe not, but same idea on all assets. RTY, I wouldn't have preferred shorts. If I would have preferred shorts, I would have the Tuesday's lows as my objective off of Tuesday's high. This, if I were to take it, but let it be. This would have been my idea going into the day. Now, what happens thereafter, how I would have gone through it is, let us have a look at the hourly chart of all assets. Price sweeps previous low, forms an OLHC candle, but how I were to participate, I would have participated if I were to. One thing which I can see is price still respecting EQ of this Monday's range and going off of this. So the bullish framework for the week would be still valid to me. I have talked about this scenario here with UDBI one time ago. If some days in a week when we have bullish auto fly, and if some days it would be there which would be retracement day, and so the whole day would close as a opposing close as of the higher time frame auto close, then these would meet the retracement objective around EQ of previous day's range. The next day would do the continuation move. This would come inside that case, but going into the day here, I could think of an OHLC day as well. How? This as a reversal, then Tuesday reversal to then Wednesday continuation. But I would have wanted this EQ to stay respected here, right? यार मैं इसको ही नहीं कॉपी पेस्ट करूँ. I would have wanted this. क्या है, तू आ जाना. This EQ of previous day's range to stay intact. So the max I would want price to come back inside the range would be around this high and immediately reject this. If I want to frame it, still frame it lower, which I would be less interested, as how the daily range is forming open low and forming a continuation around London of here. So more of a bullish day, but still, if even if I wanted last line of support or resistance, if you want to, would be this resting around EQ of previous day's range, these failure swing. So one thing, if I wanted to do, I could target this based off of daily profile, based off of this being a protected swing. Hourly chart you could use this, daily chart you could use previous low, protected swing forming in respect to this reversal formed off of here. So failure swing resting here. This was a SMT as well, yes, but wasn't met with displacement away from it. So I would instead use it to trade towards it, NQ being the preference here. This has swept, but not reversing off of here. So even if I wanted to long without wanting to see what happens here, I could have long till here if I would have got an opportunity. Around 9:10 a.m. Let me see. Uh, 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 uh. 9 a.m. 15. This is 9:30. 6 a.m. open low. Nice one. I couldn't simply trust until here. M5 not so good. M3 not so good. If you were to take this not enough risk reward. So I would say nothing for me at least. Yes, so draw would have been there, but no entry at least for me. Then my plan, which would have been to see how price would react here. If I wanted to frame it lower, I would have wanted it to reject this high, framing a protected swing off of here in respect to this. Next day continuation, previous day's reversal. But NQ, let me have a look at ES. The best moment for it would have been here. Rejects this, respects previous day's EQ. This is previous day's EQ. So if you were still looking for shorts, this would have been a good spot. 10 a.m. open high. Then I could have looked to short around this. This would have been a point of interest for me, and current intraday low, because kind of not so small wick days. So this current intraday low and this London low, you can say. So I would have wanted something to immediately happen, something like this. Making a plan how to take part with it. But when I can see this range is already failing, then I could sense this high getting manipulated as well. Then this is the last line of support where I could see a potential reversal for the day if the day is supposed to be bearish. So I would still be waiting. Now my point of relevance is not this, it would be this last line of support. This would tell me if I would want to frame till there this day as a retracement to the next day continuation, and if it rejects here, then I would see this as a reversal and this day's continuation till here. So my eyes go till there. At this moment I can tell myself that this you can consider 10 a.m. open now high close, but narrative wise not 100% sure 80-90, because the best moment for the OHLC for the daily candle would have been this. Then this should have held ideally. When this fails, you can already tell that the day is not supposed to be bearish, but still for the best case scenario, last line of support, everything in your favor. If you want to use, you can wait to see how price reacts to there. If you have more conviction, you can take this as an invalidation, seeing this as continuation post 10 a.m. You could use this 10 a.m. open low, sweeping out this being a protected swing here, sweeping out this continuation entry around 10:45 open now. Okay, yes, M5, yes, this looks nice, but still if you want to wait for more added conviction to like proper A plus idea, then you could wait to see how price reacts to the last line of support. So this, if you wanted to take, this could have been a low risk entry with half your risk, which you usually do. Then I would see how price reacts there. Okay, currently rejecting, but if it still displaces through, I would frame as 11 a.m. OHLC. This failing, price is failing to manipulate this. I could sense a bullish order flow. High is getting displaced through, not able to manipulate. So still not completely okay. Now valid M5. Yes, this would have been the best spot. You can already tell this is getting failed to be manipulated. So this would have been my entry if I was there. This could have been an early entry, and for shorts there was nothing. This would have set the framework to expect a bearish move around there. I would have been looking for a bearish continuation entry post this. Once 10 a.m. rejects off of this 10 a.m. open high kind of framework, but no follow through was given. So yes, and this being aligned with 11 a.m. open low into relevant POI opposing candle at relevant opening time at the best spot. So yes, this getting failure to manipulate means continuation through it. So previous day had as your objective, then opposing candle you could use to trail or add 11:30 open low, enough range opposing candle, closer through, clean closer through, bullish order flow, signs of bullish order flow, and takes time, but yes, reaches there. Again, lows being rejected, enough range opposing candle, trailing till there could have been considered. So yes, this would have been what I could have taken. And see how waiting more, when in times when narrative isn't clear, already places you in a better environment. Like this isn't going anywhere. Like, so simply wait for more info. If you want to use this as 9:30 continuation entry, use this. But if I want to, I can frame bearish off of where. If I want to, I can frame bullish off of here. I do not know until price hits this. So I would use this simply as a framework. This 9:30 opposing candle clean closes through. I would not take it as an entry, means of entry. Simply when narrative gets clear to me and I know what to look for, where to look for, simply then there would be good price action, good signatures, and how simple it gets thereafter. So this would have been it for Wednesday. Let me have a look at ES at the same time. Same time ES displacing through this high. This. But if I were to choose from NQES, how could I have known that I should be choosing NQ and not ES? Let me have a look at 15-minute and hourly charts. I can sense the relative strength in NQ already. SMT somewhere here. Yes. So NQ already being the stronger asset, which would reach there prior to ES. And the best spot where I would want to see how price is reacting is here in ES. So better framework to get more info for narrative was there in NQ. Yes, this high. So yes, NQ. And but ES swept this. So let me see if ES would have shown any bearish signatures here. And if I were to frame ES shorts prior to NQ longs, and if I would have taken SL or avoiding that this is just empty here could be considered London high of the day. Hmm. Good framework of here. Mhm. But one thing which I noticed on Tuesday was these highs and instead these highs. So, but still. So, but intraday framework, you could think of shorting this. Let me see how. Okay, AQ. Would I have taken that shot or not? So, okay, this is at the perfect space point and way above AQ and still rejecting it. So, if the day is meant to be bearish, I would expect this to hold in years at least. So let's get into the framework around here. Then I would expect a good continuation signature around here to then frame till low of the day here. Large wick kind of scene. So low of the day as an objective. M15. Okay, this looks kind of good. I could think of shorting around here. Mhm. Mhm. Tush, 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 tush. Yes, kind of good if this would have happened, but let me see the risk reward factors. Maybe not exactly sure I would have taken because already two less. And NQ not clear with the narrative thing. NQ already reaching for here, so I would expect ES to go a bit higher. At this moment, I would already expect NQ to reach higher. So maybe using 10M to my advantage to see if 10M gives me anything. But then I would already expect this high to hold and 10M to expand away from it. If the day is meant to be bearish, then London high, and this is at the perfect place for the near continuation. If this gets swept again, this is not a signature of a good price action to me, not high probable. Okay, I could have still considered it bearish even if I want to be very extreme, but then I would want immediate turn back, not immediately rejects. Then I am already shifting my focus to NQ. Okay, yes, the best spot it could have gone was going from here because the good days which have proper narrative, this structure is too good to be failing. And 930, and I would expect 930 to do something here. 930 lacks narrative, so price itself is lacking narrative, and this is instead rejecting lows, forming opposing bullish candles, respecting them, forming opposing bullish candles, respecting them. So less of a bearish, more of a bullish scenario. So yes, then I would have avoided taking a loss on ES because simply the framework wasn't there when you demand quality framework, and NQ's win could have been there after 11 a.m. Let me watch price action on ES as well. Okay, it rejects this much, then I could consider same time NQ rejects that high, right, which I was wanting to see rejected if the day is meant to be bear. I could consider NQ shots, I could consider ES shots. Okay, never forms. I would have wanted it to close below here. This is already failing, so if you wait for good quality signature, you would have never gotten losing trade here, just simply waiting for high quality framework, not chasing bullish entries as well, as narrative isn't simply clear to me until and unless this high. I could see how is price reacting to this high and then this high. So this long around here, only time I could see narrative getting clear to me. Displacing through it, yes. So this would have been something I could have thought to take on. This is what Wednesday long NQ to previous day high. Okay, now Thursday. Remove everything fast. Okay, done. Now going into Thursday, I could still think of that idea. I do have protected swing here, so protected swing could form in respect to this here. This I could consider ranging off of the daily chart, so this as an objective for me. So off of previous day, Thursday, reversal back inside the range. If I were to think bearish, if bullish, then simply this reversal off of here, continuation, opposing candle, closure through. So I could still frame both sides on Thursday. Level of relevance would be how price reacts to previous day high. I would use that to my relevance. And two plans going into Thursday, capping the weekly range back inside the range. You can view this as kind of consolidation reversal for Thursday here. And if you want to frame bullish, opposing candle closure through, just continuation. Okay, now YM and RTY. Wednesday, Thursday. This is Wednesday, this is Thursday. Off of the daily chart, looks more bearish than bullish to me. I don't want to frame away from these swings. I do kind of have a protected swing here, would need to look on the lower time frame. This is a SMT as well. In this internal range, this is 31st July. So YM tells me short instead of long. For longing, I would prefer NQES. For shorting, I could short YM, I could short NQES as well. RTY, yes, RTY as well. Previous day low and this low as an objective. Same for YM. But for YM, previous day low, yes, kind of relevant, but ultimate objective, this main objective. NQES, longs and shorts as well. Okay, going into the day. For longs, again, EQ logic. Okay, done. This is previous day high. Now. It just is simply expanding away from here. If I were to think long, I could not immediately think this day is gonna reach here. Average daily range 273. But if I have a look for this day, 268, same. 273, and this is almost met. This is where average daily range would peak, so I would not want to long way higher than the average daily range, almost double. Rare case. Instead, would shift back to my idea of Thursday capping the weekly range, and at the same time, this has still enough room with this. So yes, now yes, this has very enough room from this average daily range logic again for yes. Thursday 57.6 points. 57, already way past than average daily range, and if I were to target this, almost double, so I would not prefer doing this. Instead, if I were to still long, I would want it to come this much back and then long till high of the day, because the day has already expanded prior to New York till its max expansion, ideal expansion for the daily range. I trading past that average daily range is a very rare scenario and is mostly low probable in most scenarios. So I would not try to go against it. Instead, high of the day, come back, retracement, then again expansion. That is something I could think of if I want to long, but shorts come into my mind more than long. Yes, YM had better framework for shorts. Enough room from here. Previous day. Okay, this SMT is broken. Still not broken. So previous day high here. Best asset I could think of sorting based off of daily and hourly chart. You could see all these failures being stacked, and even if I wanted to long this in the weekly range, I would want to long off of here, because this would form an intra-week protected swing away from this protected swing, and I won't be comfortable trading away from these anyways. You can view them at, on the daily chart in itself. YM 454. How much points from here to here? 454 was the average daily range. Almost around the average daily range, 454. So previous day low you could think, and when it has a good framework, it would go slightly around the average daily range, not this much, but around. So yes, average is 50 above, 50 lower, depends. Not for ES, but for asset with 500 average daily range, 50 is justified. For NQ, 20, 30 points above justified. ES, 5, 10 points justified above or lower. So previous day low and ultimately this. So yes, going into New York, this is 9 a.m. The best asset I could use to see how price is reacting to previous day is YM. ES and NQ are way high in the range, but still, this current high of the day I would want to pay attention. Only relevant point here, I could not think of price expanding all the way to this higher average daily range, too far extended prior to New York. So this is a kind of the day where I lack narrative. So I would, if I were to long, best case would be this sweeps this 9:30 around, and then I long here 10 a.m. till high of the day. Only long I could have taken, because I would not prefer longing here. Already average daily range peaking even before New York, when past these sessions are have expanded this much, I would not try to frame expansion to expansion to again expansion without any new phase. You could get that logic, right? So sweeping out this would be criteria of candidate of retracement, then retracement to expansion, and not expand expecting too much expansion. But still, I would not go with the one-sided directional idea going to 930. Would let 930 print and see how it does its job. 930 kind of rejecting. Okay, this SMT I could consider protected swing. What is why I'm doing? Nice. Sweeping out all these SMT with ES here as well. Best asset to short is YM, but I wouldn't immediately think of shorting because if the bullish framework is still valid, it would reject off of this to go higher. NQ. These. So this would set the framework, but I wouldn't take this. Anyways, it would be reversal entry. So would wanna see how it reacts to there. If bullish, then it would manipulate. If bearish, then it would displace through. I would demand more from price action when I don't have a clear idea for the narrative. With the narrative out, you can say. Currently rejecting, but not enough of a range I could use to capitalize. If I were to take any M1 setup, there wasn't any M1 setup for me anyways. ES is reject displacing, NQ is rejecting. Not good of a framework. Yes, that thing happens. Retracement to the expansion, but I did have a plan, but I wouldn't have been able to capitalize this move till here, even though I had the right plan. It is what it is. I would simply let it go. This is something I could consider 10M immediately expanding away from here. NQ would want to see NQ reject off of this high immediately for that thing. Yes, NQ is rejecting, so I could consider. Now YM. Okay, YM the best asset, nice. YM is clearly displacing through this, rejecting a high as well. Displacing through this 10M, clearly setting up in alignment with 930 manipulation, 10M continuation. This is something you could have considered. And previous day low and this Tuesday's low as an objective. Obviously partials on the way, but yes, and these look like the cleanest partial around 2 hour. Best or low of the day, whatever depends on your management, but the best looking idea. 10M clearly rejects a high, displaces through these lows which were supposed to give us a manipulation, and already has a framework to draw towards these from the higher time frame. So yes, what about YM's correlated pair RTY? 948. This is a SMT, and see how much willingness this asset shows to go bearish. Immediately forms a reversal at the best possible spot, best possible time, 930 reversal, and doesn't spend time roaming here, just displays and clearly rejects, displaces through lows as well. Next driver immediately starts to do its work, clearly closes through. This is what you call as a high probability framework. So yes, this could have been considered. What if I were not to take YM? NQ wasn't simply giving anything. Yes, maybe, maybe. If you were to take ES, it would be a sure short partial. I would have would have taken here, then here. And no entry thereafter if you use this 10 a.m. as a framework. But YM entry was there, and this previous low gets hit, yes, hit, and that ultimate objective gets hit, yes. So damn, I missed. This is too nice of a framework, and see how it doesn't spend time roaming thereafter. Sets up the reversal, driver confirms the manipulation, next driver sets up the continuation in the best possible way. This is what you call as high probable framework. All these ors spending time here there, high quality framework would do it in this little time. For this you need to wait as well. Okay, Thursday being done as well. Would need to have a look at the Orly 15 again. This was SMT as well here with high of the day. You can use it with ES or YM's personal correlated pair RTY. If I were to use RTY, wouldn't have been able to trust this, yes, opposing candle, but based off of what? YM instead had better framework, swept out a high, not too low in the range, displacing through the lows where I wanted to see a reaction. So yes, the best asset. See, rejecting highs, displacing through lows. 9:30 manipulation, 10 a.m. continuation. The best thing you could ask for. And it is not displacing through the previous day high level, instead coming back inside the range. So you would think of Thursday reversal back inside the range over previous day high. Nice one. Okay, okay. Too good 2 days I missed. And 4, or you can see the ranging price action. Range high gets hit. What happens there? Manipulation. Next driver, continuation. Range high manipulation, range low objective. You could Now you could spot this range, right? And why I was wanting to frame till there just off of daily chart without even looking at 4 hour. This is what you call reversal. You can consider this protected, but this is what you call ranging. Anything could happen off of that. This is what you would frame as AMD reversal. And what if you were to still frame bullish? Can you frame off of here? Yes, enough separation from here. So this is a valid objective. What about these assets? Yes, for shorts, YM had the best framework. Okay, nice one. And as this day kind of rejects, so next day I could think of longs Friday. We have a protected swing here, a possibility of protected swing forming at the next best spot. So could think of Friday longs, but Orly framework would matter as well how this day formed. Not immediately rejecting, I could not say it is reversing off of here, as this reversal would still be valid here. So again that EQ logic. चल जा, मैं मार चलाऊंगा. So this EQ of previous range would be a level of relevance, vice versa for bullish scenario as well. Okay, this is Friday, this is today. I need to have a look at NQES as well. Am I audible between? So do you victories before the fight? Ilya taught me that. Okay, UFC bros. Could this? I would think. Then what? That's why if it should this. We had a limit. Limit? Why limit when you have so much of a room left to target? Why limit? You are very bad. You did everything you could, but missed that move just because you wanted this much of a better fill. You bad boys. You had that object. Okay, maybe you could have the wrong objective. Maybe that's why you placed the limit. But for me, this is not too large of a range and too enough room for the objective. So I do not need to wait for price to come back here, as it is already in an expansion mode for me. So I would immediately market order, as this is what I do most of the times. If I am getting around 2 to 3 hour, I do not exact need to wait for a limit order. This is almost double than that, so I wouldn't wait. I simply wasn't there from past 3 days, so I regret missing this. Okay, on to the next day. Friday. Okay. ये किस सब ही सेम भाई, सबने लिमिट, क्या चक्कर है आप लोगों का भाई? वाई लिमिट? आपने फ्राइडे, नो आई एम अबाउट टू डू इट फॉर फ्राइडे। पागल लोग हो भाई। ओके, NQES simply just based off of the daily closure. NQ simply looks like the stronger one. So if this bullish order flow, I am going with the bullish order flow thing, previous day high, and then this I could consider. And NQ would be preference just based off of how the daily candle is forming on NQ. NQ is simply the stronger asset. If I have a look at Thursday's closure, NQ closed a bit strong, ES closed a bit weak. So simply you can tell NQ is more strong. That doesn't mean you can't trade ES, but relative strength, and ES has a kind of protected swing here, so that would make sense. Why NQ and why not ES? Not complicating too much, but you can simply tell based off of the daily closure on Thursday. ES closing a bit weak, rejecting this much, NQ still staying bullish. Orly framework. This one thing that my eye caught was, okay, only levels I do have to work with here is this only level apart from this. So I would want to see how price is reacting to this, right? If it would manipulate this high, then my eyes would go here, right? So after Thursday's closure, it is a bit clear to me that price is not manipulating this, instead displacing through this. So I could think of bullish order flow, true breakout over this high using intra week logic. ट्रू ब्रेकआउट कहाँ गया मेरा? Like intra week, weekly range logic. Okay, Tuesday's high relevant high to me on the hourly chart, not on the daily chart. That's why we use time frame alignments as well. You could see this being a relevant high, and for that bullish framework, then I would simply want next day to expand away from here and not like spend time here. If it is not manipulating this, displacing through this, then it should simply continue away from this, should respect this EQ of this range. Okay, this opposing candle on the daily being respected, this high, relevant, most relevant high getting displaced through, so kind of bullish order flow you can think. If bearish, then NQ wouldn't be my preference. ES, you could think, your eyes, you could move till here, and for that you could still think reversal of a fair, and EQ this here. YM. Okay, this looks like the most bearish, but has the framework here, SMT there as well. So sets up for next week maybe to continue higher. Okay, you could think of RTY longs as well. And these assets could be shorted as well at the same time. So NQ, I would have only one idea for NQ today. That would be, if long, NQ would be my best preference, best asset. If shorts, then ES, YM, maybe RTY, but ES and YM would have been the best preference to me. If I was to think short, then I would want to see how the lower time frame built as well around 9:30. YM, EQ, ES. Okay, so going into the day, I just saw this and this was concerning to me. Daily open low, so open low displacing away London reversal, so I could consider neo continuation, and how the intraday high formed, you could see that as well. I wouldn't simply consider this as a protected high, just stacked liquidity, only engineered to be taken thereafter. And for the intraday range, I would be concerned as how price reacts to there, to then ultimately framing to previous day high. If we have a look at the average daily range, if can we frame till there, this is current day 273, still far away. 273, the which something you can consider is around 300. Yes, not far away. 343, kind of far, kind of not, but previous day high being still a best objective, because this and this still have enough room between them. Nowadays 200 points is very much room. A whole daily range is not even 200 points. This is around 190 and this is around 190, so enough room between them. So this could decide if there would be a manipulation. So previous day would have been a logical objective. So going into here, I would see how price reacts to current unestablished high of the day around New York, and if I am having an expectation of bullish order flow, I could expect this holding. This could be swept as well, but I would prefer this holding. Kind of good open low London reversal rejecting away from here. Let me have a look at other assets. Same for ES. Equalize on the highs. Open low, daily open low, I close. YM. Same scenario. So every asset calls for high of the day at least. YM could still be framed bearish. forming a protected swing here in the intraday range, respecting the EQ of previous day's range, and then till previous day low. So if I were to take something prior to this high getting it, I would prefer longing NQ or any other asset I could long as well till high of the day. And then my main point of relevance for getting more clarity with the narrative would be seeing how price would react to high of the day, as this would give me signatures which would give me better conviction with the narrative. If it gets rejected, I would try to frame YM. Short still there, I would try to frame ES. Short still where? ES short still previous day low and here because not so large wick. Can I take till there? Let us see. 59 points high here. So 59. So previous day low, I would take most of around previous day low, and 79 would hold a runner. Yes, you can say. But if I were to take a shot, I would like take most of around previous day low. So YMES being a better preference for shots. RTY, yes, you can consider it shorting till there, not here, till here. 39, 40 points you can say off of here. 40, yes. So this comes in the range of uh, average daily range. So I would short not till here because then I would consider this as a failure swing. So I would short till there. So RTY being a good asset to short, YM and yes, only asset I would prefer to long. Once high of the day I see a reaction on high of the day would be NQ. So let's get into it. The session is getting maybe a bit long, but it is good, I would say. Good draw, छोटा मार्क कर लिया था उस. Okay, I would say spend most of the time on the higher time frame and knowing where opportunity exists for you and what exists for you there. Okay, no worries, but don't forget to reflect back on it. Like, I am spending most of my time not on M15, on daily, and aligning that hourly for our time frame with that daily range logic. Okay, and with that daily and hourly range, I am still using that weekly range logic. So incorporating how the higher time frames are printing, not based off of 15 this. So my draws would be from daily, from weekly range logic, right? Not any random swing. So, and I do make proper plan when I would consider that draw in play, when I would consider that narrative in play, and if my conditions are met, I would be okay holding till the extreme objective. Because I do put too much filters, too much restrictions, when price aligns with them, then it is automatically in a high probable condition for me. And in a high probable condition, I would expect it to expand properly, right? Because I put too many filters on it, because I simply can't frame without logic. It's just my personality, I would say. I demand proper logic, so I'm not okay with less logic. So if you were to frame, I don't frame around here. You can frame till high of the day. This, okay, this is still a failure swing. Let me see if this is an SMT. ES hits this. So can you think of shorting ES going into 930? I could. Low of the day would be a point of relevance again to me then. This is SMT here. I would wanna see 930 giving me a opposing range, opposing leg to then frame continuation YM equal highs again. Okay, RTY rejected those. Nice. दिल जलता है थोड़ी थोड़ी. Best spot I would want 9:30 to give me something to then frame till here or here maybe. And yes, already there I would say. So here I would want 9:30 to immediately start going lower after sweeping this maybe because expansion expansion met with expansion, this I would consider intraday reversal, as I am wanting to short ES if I were to, and it is giving me good framework. So then enough range opposing leg prior to 9:30, I would want 9:30 to start immediately displacing for me to consider this framework. And then parceling, I would maybe partial till low of the day and then this previous day low. Now getting onto the lower time frame charts, I could use this as well. So enough opposing leg created prior to 9:30, then I would want 9:30 to immediately expand to confirm the narrative for me, as I am wanting to short ES, so I would want this in ES and YM as well. Yes, I could use this to get on side with YM shorts. This maybe. Nope, not not YM. RTY I could consider. Yes, closer through this. Okay, NQ longs, but not good framework. What about those assets? What about YM? Brother, what is this? Okay, now I could think of shorting YM as well, but now I won't take this. This would be just a reversal framework. I could think of, okay, already invalidated. Here I would be thinking to take this, as YM does have the framework to go lower. Enough ranged opposing leg. Clean closer through. I would have taken this. And I am getting around 2 hour till low of the day. So yes, this is something I could have considered, and maybe holding a relative previous day low as well, but would have taken most off around there. What? But this never forms. So okay. What about ES? Okay, bearish framework is already invalidated for me because high of the day is the only spot I would have wanted to form that reversal. Then my eyes go to NQ already till there, and once this high of the day gets hit, I would want to see how price is reacting here. I simply don't know anything. Nothing. So maybe nothing for me. Okay, I could frame something off of here because now narrative tells me to long NQ because framework for ESYM is already failing. Please, if you want to give me something, please give me off of it. Okay, this is already hindsight, but please give me. Let us have a look at the other assets at the same time. You can already see this high of the day failing, and this much expansion post 9:30 in the upside to the upside you wouldn't have wanted with the bearish framework. 9:30 open is showing you direction. So I was already having an expectation if long then NQ. So I would simply switch, and YM had the best spot formed on 9:30. 9:30 manipulation best spot where a high of the day could form. You could see I wasn't interested shorting away from these eyes failure swings. 9:30 takes them out. So best spot I could consider 9:30 manipulation, right? Then 10 a.m. continuation with this. So if this structure is failing, this is already kind of invalidation, right? And 10 a.m. expands away. This is something you could have taken in RTY if you weren't using any correlation just off of RTY's framework. But after low of the day is it, I would try to take partial, but with this much less of risk reward, I wouldn't even think of taking it. Then it is rejecting off of low of the day and SMT at the low of the day at the same time. Nice. So maybe nothing for me. Previous day high gets hit without me. Yes, I wouldn't take this even though I had the right plan. It worked out. Nothing for today, I would say for me. It Yes, I wouldn't take this. Can I frame ES to previous day high? Can I? Let me see. Okay, ES is already at EQ of previous day's range and average daily range 59. 59, yes, is inside average daily range. So I would want to see how it for me to consider longing ES when NQ has already reached previous day high. What plan I would be having, as EQ of previous day's range is around here. I would want this to get respected at first, and I would not want to see NQ reject previous day high, which I can see at 10 a.m. I would want two things I could think of if I were to take ES longs, because I missed NQ. Is NQ displacing through here or simply not coming back inside, just consolidating or expanding? Two things. Not coming back, either consolidating here, either expanding from previous day high. So this is kind of invalidation, and for years I would wanna see this previous day's EQ get disrespected. Let's see what happens there. Please, I would have wanted this to get manipulated at least 10 a.m. open low. NQ does that, but now I am not interested in NQ. Objective is met. Only objective, if the narrative is still bullish, is open in ES. So EQ. No, I won't take that. I won't take that. Can't. Not able to trust this low. लाइट चली गई मेरे यहाँ, कोई बात नहीं, session is about to end anyways. Okay, now here I could think if I were to take any longs, manipulation of here, last spot, that also I would try half risk short just because I had a plan and I missed. Let's see, not see, but it never formed anyways. So maybe I would be done for the day then. It's just nothing after then, I would say. Yes, nothing thereafter. Nothing for me to consider anything. This is something I could have considered but never got that closure. So maybe I would have ended my day with being flat, even though having the right bias, right plan for two assets, YM and NQ. But this is what it is. This is what you call real trading. You can do everything right and still end up being or having zero position, end up getting flat on the day, even though everything you thought would go right. Mm, this is what I would have done. I am not telling what you should have done. This is what I personally would have done. I would have the right plan going to the day, but I would have preferred longing NQ. I would have preferred shorting ES YM, and I would have made the plan which I shared with you for today. But right bias for NQ, never would have got an opportunity to frame it, and I'm okay with my system. It is there for a reason, to protect me from low probability setups, and when it simply doesn't give me any entry, it is simply telling me to stay out. This isn't what you are supposed to be in, what you are supposed to be risking upon. And then I simply respect my system. So I simply do nothing. When it aligns with my system, I make a plan, this then that. If it happens, I do, like, get aggressive. When it doesn't align with my system, I stay conservative, simply. So I could have caught that why I'm short on Thursday, and I would have surely caught that NQ long on Wednesday here. Which one? This one. Let me show you. 3 minute 11 a.m. long. That is something I would have 100% taken on NQ here. यार मेरे को बार बार पीछे जाना पड़ता है. This is something I would have taken for sure. This not able to be manipulated, then my eyes go still here as the last line of defense. This not able to manipulate, then I am simply framing it as a bullish order flow. Then I am using this as a framework, then I am using this as a framework. This is nothing for me. This rejection is nothing for me until aligned with the high time frame framework. This 10 a.m. open low high, open low, I could consider this as open high as well. I am not pattern trading it. I am aligning it with the high time frame narrative. Until unless high time frame narrative is not clear to me, I would leave the best pattern out there. I would let it go. When high time frame framework is good to me, I would use the simplest pattern out there because it is aligning with the high time frame framework. This is something I would have taken for sure. Maybe the ones who know me properly, closely, UD by Hidesh by, if you people are here, yes, they know I would have taken this. Why I'm short? They were already framing it, so I do not need to tell that I would have taken that. As the ones who learned with me, taken, they were to take it, but they did a human error, putting limit and not market order. Okay, and that concludes the weekly, not weekly, but recap of last 3 days. So if you people have any doubts why you did not longs, is your doubt clear now or not? Let me read the other one. उस हिसाब से RR. Okay, I think I answered this one. Anyone here? Yes, the best one which you can contact, or contact, any how you pronounce. Please any idea when this recording is going to be posted? But I would love to rewatch and break down the thought process. Okay, this thought process was still gave to you a bit quickly. Normally, when I do recap, I do go in a bit more deep, as I simply didn't want the session to become too long. So I try to do it in a quick way. But normally, when I do it alone, just for myself, I do go a bit more deep. Or when I do it with Om Bhai Mask, the owner of the server, I do go in too much depth. Mhm. But still, this is good as well. This due to this, my sorry, I can't see what talking. Post the session about what you were mentioning. Drive 400. Okay, Radhe Radhe bhai. My mind will get open after. Okay, brother. Do watch the other recaps or doubt session as well. You would get a lot of things there. Some of my friends, they can, if they have the system, they, if their system allows for it. My system simply didn't give me anything around 9:30 didn't tell me to do something around there, so I, I simply didn't do anything. I was watching the 3 hour recap. Those times didn't used to care about the length of the videos, but then some people were there telling that videos were too long. Then I started keeping videos short as much as possible. But those times I didn't use to think about if the session is getting too long or not. It is what it is. Did you see that Baldwin guy? There would be people like them. Okay, so I don't think you people have any doubts, so I would end the recording here. Okay, nice of a session. Meet you soon.